What up, draft nerds? Today we're talking about Travis Hunter. Is he the top wide receiver in the 2025 NFL draft class? Look, we know he's a dual threat, both sides of the ball, wide receiver and corner. We're going to talk about him specifically at wide receiver here today. To be at the top of any position rank, you need some superlative physical and athletic traits, and Travis Hunter absolutely has them. I know some folks look at him being a little over 6 feet, 185 pounds. They're like, how the heck is this guy going to be your top wide receiver? I'll tell you how. He has length, explosiveness, flexibility throughout his frame and in his ankles, reaction time and body control, lateral agility, suddenness in his movements, and absolute speed. He is a burner. He's got some superlative physical traits. Absolutely does. Now, you probably want him to put on 10 pounds of good weight, which I think is totally doable, 5-10 pounds. But he plays so much more physically than you would expect at 185 pounds. He absolutely does. Now, former number 1 overall recruit out of Georgia. All they do is produce stars in the Peach State, man. It's crazy. Followed Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, from Jackson State to Colorado. Plays full-time on both sides of the ball, cornerback and wide receiver, which is just insane. It's remarkable what he's able to do and the attention to detail that he brings to both sides of the ball. It's really impressive. The attention to detail and the growth year over year. He's playing better at corner and better at wide receiver in 2024 than he did in 2023. 21 years old, will be 22 next year. So we're talking about him, again, only as a receiver right now. He's gotten so much more nuanced in 2024 as a receiver than he was last year. He's grown getting off the line of scrimmage, both with his movements and with his hands. He's become a much better route runner. I love the way he always flattens to the ball on end breakers, even comes back to the ball. There's no drift. That makes it so much easier for a quarterback to complete passes over the middle of the field. His hands, they're just special. Bottom line, best hands in the class, maybe the best hands in the last couple classes. Just the catch point skills in general, the length, explosiveness, body control, the focus, and just the strong natural hands. Really impressive stuff. He's caught 70% of his contested targets this year. 70. Career number is at 65.2. And his drop percentage is 2.7% for his career. Those are all elite numbers from a metric standpoint. Like, you want guys that are dropping the ball ideally less than 5% of the time. And, he's at 2.7% for his career. But there's plenty of good receivers in college and in the NFL that are dropping it, 7 to 10% of the time. So that just shows you statistically the hands, unbelievable. And then also the ability to catch contested throws. 70% is unbelievable. 65.2% is unbelievable. Hunter, he's not perfect off the line, but as I mentioned, he's growing tremendously in that regard with his hand fighting, his movements. And I think that more focus on this specific side of the ball will lead to more nuance and better results in that regard. Again, he is playing cornerback and wide receiver full-time, whichever side he plays. I think he's going to be better in the NFL because of the focus and not having to play over 100 snaps every week. It's not just that he's having to mentally understand both sides, which, don't get me wrong, playing wide receiver makes him a better corner, and playing corner makes him a better wide receiver. It does, from a mental side of things. But having to play over 100 snaps every week on both sides of the ball, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And so just from a physical toll, how demanding that is. Whichever side he plays at the next level full time, and I do think he's going to have to pick, or his team will have to pick. Maybe Deion will pick. Who knows? Wherever he plays at the next level full time, I think he's going to be better in the NFL than he is in college. I mentioned his route tree has greatly expanded this year, which is great. A lot of his stuff in 2023 was kind of just stop routes, and you still see that. But when you have somebody that is able to create the separation that he is in a flash, you can get away with that even in the NFL. His ability to separate and literally snap of a finger with or without the ball is crazy. I think part of that is just his physical athleticism. Part of it is his natural feel for the game and processing and even like vision, I think, and understanding of leverage. It's wild to see. Then you also see his ability to find the spot in zone coverage. I love that. He is a yak monster, as I mentioned, separation with the ball. He's almost always making the first guy miss. Love how he works towards the ball or to create a target on scramble drills, which Shedeur gets into scramble drills a lot more than he should for his athletic ability. Travis Hunter's working to make himself available. At the NFL level, he can play anywhere, in terms of receiver. But to become the best on-ball receiver, X-receiver, he does need to get a little stronger and more nuanced, more consistent, getting off the line and playing with physicality throughout his route. I think he can and will do those things. But he can absolutely enter the league as a primary Z and move player and dominate early on, in year one. I think any offensive coordinator that's worth a damn is going to love having this guy on the field, love drawing things up for him and getting him open and having him do the rest. My comp is Garrett Wilson, but with even better catch point skills, just better hands naturally, and better ability to go get the contested catches, to not let the ball hit the ground. But they have similar frames, just a little over 6 feet in the 185-pound range, springiness, explosiveness, instant separation ability. I see a lot of the same similar traits with Garrett Wilson, but again, I think that there's just a better overall football player, which is incredible because Garrett Wilson, he's a stud at the NFL level. So yeah, Travis Hunter is my wide receiver one. I think just based off the tape, he's a top 5 player in this class, regardless of position, at wide receiver. But if you extrapolate the improvement you've seen year to year, the athleticism, the smarts, the physical skill set, attention to detail, to just playing wide receiver and not running his butt off every drive at cornerback, I would absolutely take him as wide receiver 1 all day at 1 overall. And I know wide receivers don't go with the first overall pick. They don't. Neither do corners. It's always quarterbacks, guys trying to sack the quarterback, guys trying to protect the quarterback with the first overall pick. But there is not a single player I would take over Travis Hunter in this draft class. One guy is close. A couple guys are close. But one guy at the money positions, the positions that usually go at the top of the draft, is close. And that's Abdul Carter out of Penn State, edge rusher. But there's not a quarterback, there's not a pass protector that I would consider over Travis Hunter. There's really not. We will talk about Travis Hunter at cornerback as well. But I wanted to start the discussion at wide receiver because he might want to follow the money. Receivers get paid more than cornerbacks, bottom line. And I think it's less demanding overall, more praise, more glory at the wide receiver position, and a whole lot more money. Let me know what y'all think about Travis Hunter in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.